Well, we look to have several disturbances running across the Dakotas and Minnesota over the course of the next few days and on into the weekend, bringing chances of rain and some snow and maybe even some freezing drizzle or some sleet or some freezing rain. None of it looks real substantial, but the only one to maybe keep an eye on could be the storm going into Sunday and Monday. So let's go on and take a look. But first, I'm going to ask you to click that like button down below. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe as well and hit the bell button alongside it. That way you're notified when I upload a video just like this for the Dakotas and Minnesota. And here's our wavy upper level pattern. And as I put this into motion, some of these are a little hard to see, but anytime you have these little kinks in there that run across our region, has the potential just at least bringing us some kind of precipitation as it rotates through the region. This is Thursday night going into Friday morning as this one kind of dumbbells around. We've got another one and yet more back off the Pacific coast as we just continue to have these waves crash on and crash on and crash on into our area. And this is the one looking more so into Sunday and Monday. This one a little stronger because we have a little bit stronger jet stream that pushes into our region that could really perhaps beef things up just a little bit. Now, the models themselves really aren't in great agreement as to exactly where or exactly when some of these will occur, but just to kind of give you a general idea, we've got maybe a slight possibility of some rain showers across western South Dakota going into Thursday night. Probably a little better chance of something coming in on Friday and going into Friday evening. I think the better chance for anything Friday is going to be this rain, mainly across South Dakota. Not to say that this area further to the north doesn't have any possibility to it, but the better chance remains down in the south. But if we do get anything a little bit further to the north, Friday, and again, this is kind of Friday evening by this point, this northern stuff, of course, could be perhaps a freezing drizzle or even some snow showers moving across our area. Now, Saturday probably has a little better chance, at least for some snow across the north, while remaining kind of rain showers in the south. None of this really is going to be very heavy, though. So anything that does precipitate out of this going into the beginning of the weekend, here we are Saturday afternoon and going into Saturday evening, really not expecting much for accumulation. I mean, these are just very weak systems, dry systems that quickly move across our area. Could potentially drop an inch in some localized spots, but again, not really expecting a whole lot out of these little disturbances that move across. Now, Sunday, here's kind of the one that kind of comes out and catches my eye maybe just a little bit more. And for this one, I think I'm going to switch to the Canadian model just to kind of give you an idea of at least just some potential of what could be coming across the north. And here we got, perhaps that rain and snow, and maybe in between that transition of perhaps some freezing rain in there. This is right around noontime on Sunday. And then as we get to Sunday evening, that snow becomes a little more predominant, I would say, but we still have that slight chance of maybe some freezing precip and some rain. Now, as we get a little bit later and we get into Sunday night and more so Monday morning, the rain really starts to kick in, especially across Minnesota. We really begin to draw more moisture into the system. And so expecting actually a fair amount of rain potential, at least across, like I said, Minnesota going into Wisconsin. Now, how far north that rain line will kind of go, that'll be the question as we get into Monday morning. And of course, where that happens, we could be seeing a fair amount of snow. I think the best chance looks to be, as you can see here, mainly across northern parts of Minnesota. How much exactly, it's going to be very difficult to say at this point, but just keep that in mind as we get into late Sunday, more so Sunday night and into Monday morning. We've got that potential for snow and maybe even some freezing rain running across the north. One other thing to note is going to be the possibility of some fog. Now, we do have some fog dipping into North Dakota here already going into Wednesday night. So expect areas of fog across North Dakota and probably just butting up against the valley by Thursday morning. And again, I think by Friday morning as well, what we're looking at is the low level moisture. So where we've got the blues is where those low levels are really saturated. So again, across North Dakota, perhaps across the western, northwestern parts of South Dakota, maybe even northern parts of Minnesota as well, has the potential for some fog again going into Friday morning. Saturday morning also has that possibility once again, mainly across North Dakota. But we also have to worry just a little bit about there's going to be that potential for some drizzle as well. So it's just a matter of where that freezing line develops. But I think we've just something to keep an eye on, perhaps as we get into Friday night, early Saturday morning, just some drizzle or maybe some freezing drizzle as well. Now, the good thing about all this, as we take a look at the temperatures about 5,000 feet above the ground, and that just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of where our cold fronts are at and when things are going to kind of warm up. But you can see we've got maybe just a little bit of a warm up Friday going into Saturday, and then just a little bit of a cool down, bit of a warm up back again as we get into Sunday, perhaps Monday, and then we get another little cold shot. But the main thing I kind of want to point out really is this cold air really remains to our north. So while we might have little shots of warm air and little shots of cold air here and there, we don't foresee any big Arctic outbreaks dipping down into our region at this time. All right, your temperatures going into the weekend. For Thursday, your highs we're looking at generally in the upper 20s to low 30s across the north. Mid 30s across the Arrowhead region of Minnesota. As you get further to the south, mid to low 40s across southern Minnesota. And of course, mid 50s to near 60 down in southwestern parts of South Dakota. Friday morning lows, everybody pretty much is going to be starting out below freezing, except for down here in southwestern parts of South Dakota once again. Otherwise, we're looking at low temperatures way up north in the mid to upper teens. Friday's high temperatures, just a little bit of a dip here into North Dakota where we've got some of those freezing temperatures, maybe just pushing a little bit further south, some areas struggling to get above freezing. But otherwise, again, mid to upper 30s up in the northeast, mid to upper 40s in the south, and 50s down in the southwest once again. Saturday morning lows, again, here's kind of our freezing line. So if we got the potential for any type of a drizzle through the overnight hours, it could be of the freezing variety as we get into Saturday morning. So keep that in mind across North Dakota. And then as we get into the afternoon hours, Saturday not looking too bad. Most areas getting above freezing with the exception of the far northern parts of North Dakota. Mid to upper 30s again up in the northeast. Getting into the 50s down in southern parts of Minnesota and into the 60s in southern portions of South Dakota. And then Sunday morning lows not too bad starting off down here in the southeastern parts of our area. Lows only in the upper 30s to around 40. Otherwise, everybody else is going to be below freezing by the time we start our day on Sunday. And then our high temperatures once again Sunday, again with that snowpack in the far north, we're going to have a hard time getting above freezing. And even actually up here in the northeastern parts of Minnesota is going to be closer to that freezing mark, just a little bit cooler. We're talking mainly in the mid 40s down in southern parts of Minnesota and in the upper 40s to low 50s down here in the southwest. So just a little bit of a cooler day region-wide on Sunday. So a few quick hitters as we go into the weekend, and then maybe just one that we got to watch a little more so as we get into Sunday and Monday. That'll be the main one to kind of really keep our eye on. Actually, temperatures aren't going to be too bad as we're looking at, we're going to be struggling to get above freezing in northern parts of North Dakota, but elsewhere, 40s to 50s to even some 60s across the south sounds pretty darn good. So for those of you across Minnesota for the opener of deer hunting, good luck to you. It's actually not looking too bad. Stay safe out there as well. All right, everybody, for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner. Everybody, have a good day.